At the end of this video, you will know a lot about Rahu and Ketu into the 1st and 7th house axis. Rahu in the 1st house and Ketu in the 7th house. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic Astrological videos just like this one, and these videos will help you grow further faster into Vedic Astrological studies. If you have any question, add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology, or you can put your question into the comment section of any of the relevant YouTube videos comment section. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. If you are looking for readings and consultation, check out the link into the description section and go for the complete horoscope analysis. And if you want to know more about Vedic astrology, join my email list wherein I share the content on a regular basis. Right now you can have an access to the transit videos and few other videos once you join the email list. The link is into the description section. Rahu and Ketu in the 1st and 7th axis of the horoscope. But before that, what is Rahu and Ketu and why they are important and what do they signify in your chart? Let's talk about this before we jump into Rahu and Ketu's placement into the 1st house and 7th house axis. Rahu and Ketu have certain similarities and certain differences. Rahu and Ketu are always 180 degrees away from each other, and they always move in retrograde direction. Rahu and Ketu are the polar opposite each other. Rahu and Ketu are the elements or the agents of change. They bring in the extreme changes. Rahu and Ketu are all about the chaos. Rahu and Ketu are about the irresponsibility and compulsive behavior. These are the forces. These are the forces which brings in change, instability, and also certain kind of chaos. So these are the common characteristics or the way of operation for Rahu and Ketu. Now let's talk about the differences in Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is a futuristic planet. Rahu is futuristic. Ketu is all about the past life and the things which you have already achieved in the past life. So Ketu is like a flag about the things which you have already achieved. And Rahu is an obsession about the things. So Rahu is always looking up and in the future, and Ketu is always looking back. Rahu is about the unorthodox things, unusual things, things which are taboo, things beyond your culture, foreign things. And Ketu is a orthodox, conservative planet. Rahu amplifies the things, and Ketu intensifies the things. Rahu is all about looking up and out with an open heart, and Ketu is about closing your eyes and internalizing all your energies towards yourself. So these are the differences of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are like armies. Rahu is an army which goes out and conquer the unknown territory, and Ketu is an army which stays at the castle and saves the castle. But eventually we have to go to the Rahu house. Here is the thing about Rahu and Ketu. Ketu are the things which we have already achieved and we are comfortable with. But the problem with it is we always feel that we are not good enough, because we always seek the perfection, and that's what frustrates Ketu. So wherever we have Ketu placed in, that house is going to fail us. That house is going to frustrate us. And how we can improve that house? Most definitely, we can improve that house by going into the Rahu house. Don't try to work on the Ketu house. Be easy on the Ketu house and be focused about the Rahu house. But you will be afraid to jump into the Rahu house. You will feel comfortable at the Ketu house, but don't do that. Jump into the Rahu house, and that will improve your Ketu house. Before we go further, we have to understand Rahu and Ketu astronomically. Earth is revolving around the sun, and moon is revolving around the earth. Earth is revolving around herself while revolving around the sun. Now, when the path of the moon's orbit intersects Earth's orbit around the sun on the north side, it is called as the Rahu. And when it intersects while revolving around the sun on the south side, it is called as the Ketu. So if you look at it, Rahu and Ketu are not planets. They are the Grahas who can grasp the consciousness, but they are not the planets. And these are more like ascendants, where the orbit of moon around the earth intersects the orbit of earth around the sun on the north and south. What is ascendant? We always talk about ascendant as the Rashi on the eastern horizon of your horoscope. But more than that, astronomically, when you look at the ascendant, ascendant is ascertained on the basis of east point. And what is the east point? East point is an intersection of the prime meridian to the horizon of the earth. Okay, so, and on the basis and on the reference of that east point, when the ecliptic path intersects the horizon, we can see the Rashi on the east point, and that becomes our ascendant. And in this scenario, your earth is your body. So your ascendant becomes your body, and that determines your physical experiences on the earth. But when we are talking about Rahu and Ketu, and when we call them as an ascendant, they are more of about your consciousness, your journey of consciousness. Okay, and that's why sun and moon are involved. What is sun? Sun is your soul, your light, your vision, this is the significator of Atma. And what is moon? Moon is your mind, your manas. And when the intersection of these two planets come in, they create Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu and Ketu are not planets, they are more like ascendant. Ketu is like an ascendant because we are familiar with the Ketu things. We are familiar with the Ketu significations because we are carrying those things with us from the past life. We have already achieved that. We have already put in effort into that. That's why we feel good about it. We can rely upon the Ketu things in our life. But Rahu is about the 7th house. And if you look at the 7th house in the local space, it is the horizon wherein sun sets in, but it is always illusionary. You will always find illusions. So Rahu is about the 7th house. Ketu is more like ascendant, things which we are familiar with, our body. And seventh house is the house of other self, other people, public, foreign things. And that's what represented by Rahu. We'll talk about this in detail later in this video. But just remember, Rahu and Ketu are not planets. They are just the mathematical points like ascendant. Ascendant is important, but ascendant is not planet. Rahu and Ketu are important, but they are not planets. They are like the mathematical point of intersections, like ascendant and descendant. To understand more about Rahu and Ketu, we must go into the mythological story of the creation of Rahu and Ketu. That is interesting story. I love the mythological stories behind Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu, we always talk about Rahu and Ketu are one and the same. We are going to understand this, why we call it they are one. It would be interesting to know more about the origin of Rahu and Ketu, the mythological story behind the Rahu and Ketu. There was a celestial demon called Swarabhanu who did the sadhana, and Lord Brahma appeared in front of him and he asked the boon that he should be given the status of a planet. Then during the celestial churning of the ocean, the Kshirasagara, on the back of the Kurma, with the help of Vasuki and Mandar Parvat, the churning of the ocean started. And demons and gods have the pact that whatever comes out of this will be divided equally in demons and gods. When the churning of this ocean started, the first thing came out was a halahal, which is a dangerous poison which Lord Shiva drank. After the halahal, many useful and valuable things like plant, animals and many other valuable things come out of the churning. And then Dhanvantari, the celestial physician, come out with the pot of nectar. And demons forget the agreement that everything which comes out of it will be divided in gods and demons equally. And they wanted to drink the nectar so that they will become immortal. Lord Vishnu did not want the demons to become immortal. So he took the form of Mohini. Mohini started to serve the nectar to everybody, and she started with the gods. The plan was to finish the nectar within the gods themselves. But Swarabhanu could see this and could manipulate and could enter into the rows of gods. Other demons were captivated by the beauty of Mohini. Lord Vishnu was aware of the boon of Lord Brahma, so he overlooked the Swarabhanu. And Swarabhanu drank nectar and become immortal. Sun and moon spotted Swarabhanu drinking the nectar and requested Lord Vishnu to kill him. But now, before that, he has already consumed that nectar. Lord Vishnu used his Sudarshan Chakra and cut Swarabhanu's head. The head became the Rahu and the body become the Ketu. So Rahu and Ketu are not two planets or two things, but they are the polars. They are the poles of the same Swarabhanu. That's why when we talk about Rahu and Ketu, we always talk about them in axis. We always talk about them in polarity. And they are never different than one another. It sounds weird that they are not different, but when we dive deep into it, we'll know more about it. Okay, so this was the mythological story behind the Rahu and Ketu. Now let us talk about Rahu in the first house and Ketu in the seventh house. Rahu in the first house. What is Rahu? Rahu is unusual. And the first house is about the personality. The planet of unusual and out of the box, unorthodox things is coming into the house of personality. So the person with the Rahu in the first house is way ahead of his time, is unusual. And if the degrees of the Rahus are exactly matching to the degrees of ascendant, then there will be something which is noticeable about the appearance. Like he may be a taller guy, unusually taller. Maybe something to do with his face, which is unusual, which is a Rahu thing. Rahu is the planet of amplification. The planet of amplification comes into the house of personality and self. So this person might have an amplified self-esteem, which can turn into ego on the negative side. But otherwise, these people become confident. Rahu is the planet of abundance. And the first house is the house of self. So this makes the planet of abundance comes into the house of your physical strength. So this person have tremendous stamina. The person with the Rahu in the first house has a next level stamina or physical vitality. You cannot imagine or beat that. Okay. The planet of the foreign things comes into the house of personality. So this person has that element of the foreign things. Rahu is a planet of future. And the first house is the house of your personality. Rahu is also the planet of the illusion. And first house is the house of personality. So all in all, the first house Rahu makes person energetic, gives stamina, strength, and evolved or amplified self-esteem. They have to be careful not to allow this amplified self-esteem into ego. Ketu in the seventh house. Seventh house is the house of partnership, and Ketu is the planet of perfection. The planet of perfection comes into the house of the relationship. Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu always work in polar opposite each other. They always 180 degrees away from each other. So when Rahu is into the first house, Ketu will always be into the seventh house. And this is the challenge they have to face in this lifetime. They have to go to the Rahu side. They have to move to the Rahu house. But Ketu house will hold them. Let's understand how exactly this happens. When a person have Ketu in the seventh house, these people have a great inclination towards the relationship. These people attract relationships quite easily. They enter into the relationship very early in their life. But if that person is moved away from them, they enter into another relationship. If that doesn't work, they enter into another relationship. If that doesn't work, next. Now it might sound like a great placement that they are getting into relationship quite easily, but the person who is going through this finds it frustrating. The key here is the person with the Ketu in the seventh house always want to be in the relationship. And the purpose of this lifetime is to become the individualistic, to go to the first house, to know yourself. The person with the Ketu in the seventh house is ready to do anything to make their relationship work. They are ready to put in effort, they are ready to put in the time and do anything to make the relationship work. But that won't work. Why? Because they have to put work in themselves. If they can put work into themselves, if they work on their Rahu, if they work on their self, their relationship will improve. They lack the sense of self. The Rahu with the first house person lacks the sense of self. Yes, they have the amplified sense of self, yet they are confused about who they really are. So they cannot attract the partner they want. Instead, they keep working on the seventh house things. They keep working on how they can make the relationship work, how they can keep that person, how they can keep the seventh house person in their life. They feel that as long as they are into relationship, they can live their life. But the problem with the Ketu is perfectionist. Ketu wants absolutes. Ketu doesn't like anything below the perfection. And perfection does not exist. There is no perfect partner. There is only compatible partner or non-compatible partner. We all have flaws. We all have good things as well as bad things. So we are compatible to some people and we are not compatible with some people. But the person with the Ketu in the seventh house wants that perfect partner, wants that great partner, wants that perfect partner who has everything which they have in their mind, which does not exist. And here comes the Rahu. So when these people work on themselves, when these people go towards their Rahu house and work on themselves, try to find out who they really are, their relationships improve. And that's what I was talking about. First house and seventh house might seem different. Like if you want to improve the relationship, you will work on the relationship. But no, if you can improve yourself, you will attract the better partners. The partners which will resonate with you, and you will have a fulfilling relationships. That's how first axis and seventh axis work. So in order to work on your Ketu axis, you have to work on your Rahu house. Excuse me. To work on your Ketu house, you have to work on your Rahu house. So first house and seventh house are not opposite. They are one and the same. It's like you are ready to work for others, but you can work for others only if you are in good health, if you are in good shape, if you are in good state of mind. If you are good, then you can do something for others. And that's the harmony we have to bring in with the first and seventh house axis of Rahu and Ketu. Don't try to work on the seventh house. Instead, work on the first house. Try to be individual. Try to find out yourself. A Rahu in the first house is challenging, especially for the male natives. The man with the Rahu in the first house experiences a difficult time with a relationship, because Rahu is a female planet. First house is a Kendra house, Dharma Trikona house, and prominent house of personality. And now the illusion comes in here. The illusion of the self comes in here. So the person with the Rahu in the first house need to work on their identity, need to work on their self. They don't know who they are and how they are going to attract a partner. Before you even think about the partner, work on yourself. Before you work on the Ketu house, work on the Rahu house, and your relationship will improve. So yes, this was Rahu and Ketu in the first and seventh house axis. I know you have questions about it. Just put your questions into the comment box. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. And don't just limit your studies to just what we have discussed in this video. Rahu and Ketu is a whole lot than just this video. So explore Rahu and Ketu, and if you have any question, share your question into the comment box. I read all the comments and I reply to almost all the comments. What to watch next? If you're new to Vedic astrology, go and watch how to get started into Vedic astrology. Or you can go and watch the Ascendant series. Or you can go and watch the transit video of the Saturn. Or you can go and watch the retrograde planet series. Or just go to my YouTube channel, go to the playlist section and just start exploring the fascinating world of Vedic astrology. Sending you tons of positive energies, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.